about December 16th.
No, that's the question. What happened on December 17th? This same guy murdered somebody. This guy murdered somebody, and I'm asking you, why did you change your website?
Well, do you not want me to talk to you about the actual case?
I want you to answer the first question I said.
Which was about the case.
Why did you change your website?
Well, sir, because the website is not my policy. My policy, you are referring to a campaign website.
Welcome back to Freedom Forge. If you believe in law, order, accountability, and putting the safety of citizens first, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and stay locked in, because what we're about to break down today should concern anyone who cares about how justice is actually being applied. Today's Senate hearing centers around prosecutorial decisions, immigration policy, and a deeper question: are political agendas interfering with the basic duty to protect the public? Lawmakers are pressing officials on why certain individuals, especially those with serious criminal histories, are not being prosecuted, and whether policies that consider immigration consequences are influencing those decisions.
Charges in most previous cases. Completely failed Stephanie. Illegal alien with lengthy arrest record allegedly butchers woman at Virginia bus stop. And then there's a whole stack of others which I won't read, but we'll just submit for the record if that's okay, Mr.
Without objection. Chairman Jordan.
Thank you. Sheriff, why'd you let Marvin Morales Ortiz out of jail?
Because I received a court order, a judicial order from a judge ordering his release.
Because the guy beside you wouldn't prosecute him, right?
You'd have to talk to him.
So this guy, the guy beside you wouldn't prosecute the guy who's an illegal migrant, who'd been charged with 6 different crimes, who was arrested for murder in 2020, who in 2023 assaulted a police officer, and who in September of 2025 was charged with aggravated malicious wounding and brandishing a gun. And that guy's released, you can't hold him because he's not going to be prosecuted. Is that right?
I'm not sure about,
That's what you told us. You sent us a letter on March 11, 2016, addressed to myself and Chairman McClintock, and you said on December 16, 2025, the Commonwealth's attorney moved to not prosecute the charges of aggravated malicious wounding and brandishing a firearm by Mr. Morales Ortiz. So you had to let him out, didn't you?
Through a court order by a judge, yes, I did.
You had to let him out.
I was ordered to release him by a judge.
I see you got some of your deputies behind. How's morale in your department, Sheriff? Is it good?
I didn't know I was here to talk about morale, sir, but based on
You're here to answer the questions we ask you. That's what you're here for. Yeah.
Of course I am.
Okay.
But I'm also here to talk about what I was invited here to talk about.
Well, I'll refer you to a statement you made in August. Fairfax County Sheriff Stacy Kincaid, Democrat, also told 7 News reporter Nick Minnick, "It's shameful the way things have not been prosecuted." You stand by that statement?
If that's what was written, I do.
No, I'm not asking if that's what's written. I'm saying, did you say that, and do you stand by that, and is that having an impact on morale? Because most of the police departments I know and sheriffs and deputies that I know, when they get the bad guys off the street, they like to see them prosecuted so they don't come back on the street, harm the community you're supposed to protect, and make their job tougher because they got to go get them again when they commit some other crime. That's why I asked the morale question in light of your statement just a few months ago where you said it's shameful that the guy beside you is not prosecuting people.
I did.
You said that?
I did.
Okay, good. Mr. Descano, why'd you change your website?
Sir, first of all, let me address what you had said earlier.
You answered the questions we asked. You answered the questions we asked. I asked a simple question. Why did you change your website last month?
Well, sir, your statements about don't want to prosecute guys is absolutely false. And my policies so far in this hearing...
Are you saying what the sheriff wrote me is wrong?
No, what I'm saying is that the way that my policies have been
December 16th,
presented in this are outrageous.
She said the Commonwealth's attorney, that's you, chose not to prosecute Mr. Morales Ortiz on December 16th, and they had to release him. They had to do their job because you wouldn't prosecute. What happened on December 17th, Mr. Descano?
Well, sir, let's talk about December 16th.
No, that's the question. What happened on December 17th? This same guy murdered somebody. This guy murdered somebody, and I'm asking you, why did you change your website?
Well, do you not want me to talk to you about the actual case?
I want you to answer the first question I said.
Which was about the case.
Why did you change your website?
Well, sir, because the website is not my policy. My policy... You are referring to a campaign website.
I think the voters might be interested in that. This is your campaign website where you said, our office will take immigration consequences into account when making charging and plea decisions. Immigration consequences were certainly part of the game here, part of the issue here with Mr. Morales-Ortiz.
No, they weren't.
You decided
they absolutely
not to
were not. You are
decided-
assuming something that is in fact untrue, because you are misrepresenting my policies. My policies do not say that we do not prosecute people.
Well, if you're proud of your policies, why'd you change your website?
Because that's not my policy. As I told you, sir, that is a campaign statement that I made before I was Commonwealth
It had been up
Attorney.
for 6 years. A week after we send you a letter saying we want you to come testify, shazam, you change it.
Because
I'm
I
just
could not-
asking, is that coincidental?
Because I could not believe that people were so obtuse that they could not realize what the difference between a campaign statement and an actual office policy is.
So when you make campaign statements, those aren't true? You're not being honest with your voters?
That's not what I'm saying at all, sir.
Sure sounded like it. Sure sounded like it.
It's absolutely not. What I'm saying is that when you
still haven't told me why you took it. You still haven't told me
policies-
why you took it down.
Because I was hoping to come here to talk about my office policies, not be distracted by a campaign statement that was
Not be
made
distracted.
a year
This
before
is-
I was actually Commonwealth's Attorney,
Attorney General.
and had any cases that were mine.
This is almost laughable. This is your policy. You said it right here. You told the voters, if you elect me, I will take into account immigration consequences when making charging and plea
This
decisions.
is my policy, not
Right
what you
here.
have in your hand.
Oh, okay, so what you said to the voters is not real, doesn't count.
No, sir, what I'm saying is that as an office holder,
I just
my
find it
office
interesting.
is run by my policy.
Your sheriff said you wouldn't prosecute. This guy gets released, kills someone the next day. We start asking about it. You change your website and take down the statements that say you're going to take into account immigration consequences when you decide
my
what
policy
you
is
are
public,
going to
and it
charge.
has been public the entire time I've been in office, sir.
Gentleman's time has expired.
Now, let's get into it. What we just watched is not just a heated exchange. It's a window into a system that, frankly, looks like it's failing the very people it's supposed to protect. A sheriff is being questioned about why a dangerous individual, someone with multiple charges, including violent offenses, was released. And what's the answer? A court order. But why was there a court order? Because the prosecutor chose not to move forward with the charges. Let that sink in. You've got someone arrested multiple times, facing serious accusations, and instead of being kept off the streets, the system essentially shrugs and lets him go. And then we hear that shortly after being released, this same individual allegedly commits an even more serious crime. That's not just a mistake. That's a breakdown in responsibility. Now, as a patriot who believes in law and order, I've got to say this clearly. The justice system is not supposed to gamble with public safety. When law enforcement does their job, when they arrest someone with a record like that, the expectation is simple. Prosecutors follow through. The system works. The community is protected. But what we're seeing here is something else entirely. There's a moment in this hearing where the sheriff admits something that should alarm everyone watching. He previously said it was shameful that cases weren't being prosecuted. And when asked directly, he stands by that statement. Think about that. A law enforcement official openly acknowledging that the lack of prosecution is a problem. That tells you this isn't just political theater. This is something people on the inside are worried about too. And then the focus shifts to the prosecutor. The questioning gets sharper, more direct. Why weren't charges pursued? Why was the website changed? Why remove statements about considering immigration consequences in charging decisions? Now here's where it gets really interesting. Because the prosecutor tries to draw a line between what was said during a campaign and what is actually being done in office. But that raises a serious question. If you told voters one thing to get elected, and then you distance yourself from it when you're in power, what exactly are you standing on? You can't have it both ways. You can't campaign on a certain philosophy and then, when that philosophy is called into question after a tragedy, suddenly say it doesn't reflect your real policy. And let's be honest here. When you introduce factors like immigration consequences into prosecutorial decisions, you're shifting the focus away from the crime and toward the circumstances of the individual. That's not equal justice under the law. That's selective justice. And selective justice is dangerous because it creates a system where outcomes depend not just on what was done, but on who did it. That's not what the justice system is supposed to be about. The law is supposed to be blind. It's supposed to apply equally to everyone, regardless of background, status, or politics. What makes this even more concerning is the timing. According to the exchange, the website was changed right after officials began asking questions and calling for testimony. Now, maybe that's coincidence, or maybe it's damage control. But either way, it doesn't inspire confidence. If policies are solid, if decisions are being made in the best interest of public safety, then there should be no need to quietly edit the record when scrutiny comes in. Here's the bigger picture. This isn't just about one case. It's about a pattern. It's about whether prosecutors are prioritizing ideology over enforcement. It's about whether the system is more concerned with optics than outcomes. And most importantly, it's about whether communities are being put at risk because of those choices. As someone who believes in a strong, fair, and consistent justice system, I'll say this: accountability matters. If decisions lead to preventable harm, those decisions need to be examined. Not brushed aside, not explained away, examined. Because at the end of the day, the people who pay the price for these failures aren't sitting in hearing rooms. They're out there in communities expecting the system to protect them. And when that trust is broken, it's not easily rebuilt. So the question you have to ask yourself is simple. Do you want a justice system that enforces the law equally and consistently, or one that bends based on politics and pressure? That's what this hearing is really about. If you found this breakdown valuable, make sure you like the video, subscribe to Freedom Forge, and stay tuned because we're going to keep bringing you the truth behind these headlines. No spin, no filter, just real analysis of what's happening and why it matters.